Howdy, howdy. This is Sunday streaming for the week of July 9th, 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. Thanks for all your support, all that good stuff. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope I'm coming in nice and clear. And hope that the Crash Bandicoot sounds in the background aren't being heard on this broadcast. Baby, can you turn it down just a little bit more? Thank you. First question, where's my Berserk review? That will be out this week, my good sir. If you haven't noticed, I've been pretty busy. Been pretty busy this past week as far as recording, doing things, and all that good stuff. A lot of good stuff came out this week. A lot of good videos came out this week. I hope you guys enjoy them, especially the Hellboy Universe vid was really popular, and I'm really proud of that one. I'm really proud how a lot of people really came together and really dug that a lot. The manga video is doing really well as well. These voiceover videos, they seem to be more popular than my traditional videos, which I'm going to make an announcement later on today in regards to all that stuff and how that's going to work out with the channel and things like that. But that'll be later on in this live stream. Kind of keep you guys guessing as to what's going on. So yeah, how is everybody doing this beautiful Sunday morning? Can't believe it's already July 9th. This year seems like it's just insanely flying by so quickly. Oh my god. Oh. Pardon me. First question. As a Hellboy fan, I really enjoyed it. Do you think the Tomb Raider comic is good? I would love to be able to answer that. Unfortunately, I have never read the Tomb Raider comic, so I can't give you a serious answer. Eon Falan. I'm not entirely sure if you're being honest or not, but he's asking me, is the Berserk manga worth picking up? Absolutely, but you will see some fucked up shit in there. Some shit that will change your mind, that will mess you up. Like, if you think you're ready, you are not ready. And if you're a fan of Dark Souls, Berserk is an absolute must pick up. Like, absolutely. You have to. You have to have it. Miyazaki has often cited that Dark Souls takes a lot of inspiration from Berserk. And after reading the first 13 chapters of it, 13 volumes, rather, you can definitely see where his inspiration comes from as far as creature designs, the universe, building all that stuff up. You see it. It's plain as day, and it's very obvious, especially in how some of the armor looks and things like that. Twin Peaks mind-changing level. Here, I've never seen Twin Peaks, so I can't really say, but I'm willing to bet the fucked up shit that happens in Berserk, it doesn't happen in Twin Peaks, because if it did, Twin Peaks wouldn't be on the air. Like that is how dark Berserk gets at points. Howdy, who would win in a fight? Daredevil or Hellboy? That's a really good question. That's a really good question. My money would easily go to Hellboy. Yeah, Daredevil's got acrobatics and stuff like that, but Hellboy, if you read the Hellboy comics, you know Hellboy can take a beating and he just keeps going. Like, it takes a lot to hurt Hellboy. And it's not like Daredevil has super strength or anything like that. Lloyd Wong, thank you for your Essex County review. I'm reading it right now and never would have caught some of the connections you mentioned between the stories. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, the connections are all really there. It's really interesting seeing how everything ties in and seeing how the story comes together. And once you reach the ending, you realize just how grand in scale of a story it is that Jeff Lemire is telling. It's really impressive, absolutely impressive, and that's the part that really blew me away the most when reading it, realizing, oh my God, like this is such a huge sense of scale and story, and the time it spans, and the time that the story tells and crosses. It's really brilliant stuff. Hold on, I need to get my cat. Apologies. What makes Hellboy amazing? I think I covered that pretty well in the Hellboy universe, but it's definitely the mythology, the accessibility, how grand in scale everything is. Um, what makes Hellboy amazing is, for me, it's mainly how well Mike Mignola is wow, is able to tie in so many different races, religions, myths, folklores, all that stuff into such a really awesome and coherent story. And the connections are there between the different volumes and the different stories that he tells. It's just, it's very subtle, and you don't realize it until he points them out. For example, one character that he had in, I think it was like volume 2, a little girl. That character shows up much, much later on in the Storm and the Fury, which is the last volume of Hellboy proper, and she's an adult now. So essentially, you're seeing her as a baby, and then you see time passes by. Hellboy gets older, she gets older, and you see her as an adult, and you don't make that connection. It's like, oh man, yeah, she was that character from years and years and years ago. It's so good. It's really great stuff. And hey Harko, did you continue reading Assassination Classroom? No, I didn't. Actually, I need to pick up the next volume, the next few volumes of Assassination Classroom. I really dug the first volume that I read. I think Assassination Classroom is what, like 13, 14 volumes out right now? I need to take a look. I get swept up in My Hero Academia. I've got the 8 volumes that are out right now. Volume 9 comes out, like, I think, August 1st. So I'm going to pick that up as well. And I've been reading My Hero lately. I've been digging the hell out of that. I'm not really an anime manga fan. I'm more of a Marvel, DC, Image, and Vertigo fan. Do you think that manga competes with the other famous comic book publishers? I do too. I do. I do. And in fact, I'm not entirely sure if this is true, but I think it was a few years ago. I read somewhere that that manga is actually, around the world, more popular than traditional mainstream comics, than the Western stuff that we have here. Again, I don't know if that's true. I think I read that years ago, but I could definitely see that being the case. Um, Daniel Pike, you should try One Punch Man. I have a review for One Punch Man out. I have one for the first volume. Yeah, Hellboy is a true sonata of world building and tangible beliefs within characters. It takes time to realize it. It really does. It doesn't hit you over the head with this universe. It doesn't, point it out like in your face, or it's flashy or anything like that. But it's something that gradually happens over time, and just how much of a world Mike is able to build over these past 20 years. It's insane, and it's really its own unique mythology. How, like I've pointed out, Mike is able to take, let's say, King Arthur's story, and how he's able to weave that into Hellboy's own mythos. It's, oh my God. Didn't I hear that Assassination Classroom is ending soon? Or that he's got an ending in sight or something like that? 16 volumes right now? Wow. What do you think of Marvel Legacy? Um, it in a way, it sounds like it sounds. It's really hard to say. In a way, they really dropped the ball on how they announced it and stuff like that. A lot of fans were confused, including myself. I was a bit lost as to how and why they decided to go about announcing Marvel Legacy like this when they were hyping this up like if it's an event and all this other stuff, but it really isn't. Um, I think the Marvel Legacy though, it just sounds like it's more of the same. It doesn't sound like they're changing too much. It doesn't sound like they're trying to steer the ship around or change things. You know, yeah, that's great. You're acknowledging your legacy. You're saying, okay, these characters they matter. All these characters matter. The old characters, the new characters. You know, because there are a lot of people out there that are butthurt, and they're saying that Marvel is taking away our characters and all this other stuff, and that's just not simply the case. That said, I am down for this. I think it could be a good thing. They're not doing, renumbering a bunch of titles and stuff like that. They are basically saying, okay, these titles, we're going to keep going with the numbers. Don't worry about it. We're not doing a number one or anything like that. And we're introducing new titles. I'm like, all right, fine. That's perfectly fine. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm also reading the least amount of Marvel that I've ever read in my entire life. I'm reading next to no Marvel at this point. Outside of the Miss Marvel stuff and the Jason Aaron Thor run, I'm reading Zippo. Like, yeah, almost no Marvel. And instead, I'm using my money to get manga and to buy DC books and to buy Image stuff and Dark Horse stuff, the pennies that I can afford, the little that I can afford right now. Okay, did you enjoy Spider-Man Homecoming? I'm off to watch it in 3 hours. I did. I did. I enjoyed Spider-Man Homecoming quite a lot. I didn't love it. I wasn't head over heels crazy about it like a lot of fans are. But I thought it was fun. I thought it was a really good Spider-Man story overall. It was a fun movie. It was. I might have my nostalgia glasses on, but I still think Spider-Man 2 is my favorite. But Spider-Man Homecoming comes in close. It was a good movie. It was really fun. I think that there's one particular scene in the movie, without giving away spoilers, that they try to pay homage to a classic scene from the Ditko era of Spider-Man, and I think they didn't quite stick the landing. It just did not work for me. I get what they were going for, but they didn't stick it. They tried. They tried, and they changed certain things around that scene, and I'm gonna say it's not as powerful. It did not click with me at all. Can you rank the Arkham games from me? Okay, coming in at number one, I would say it would be Arkham City. Coming in at number two, Arkham Asylum. Number three, the Arkham. What was that prequel game? Oh my God, the Arkham prequel game that wasn't by Rocksteady, it was by a WB in-house studio. And coming in at number four, Arkham Knight. I didn't like Arkham Knight too much. Yeah, I did not care for Arkham Knight too much. Was not a fan of Arkham Knight, especially the tank stuff. God, I hated the tank stuff. Oh my God, I was so happy when halfway through that game that tank blows up, and then yeah, they bring it back. I'm like, oh, you guys suck. Yeah, that game would have been a lot better if it didn't have those forced tank missions. Hal D. Can you rank all the Spider-Man movies, including Spider-Man Homecoming? Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 3, and then the Amazing Spider-Man's movie. Amazing Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 1. That's where I would rank them. I think, what's his name? What's the boy's name that did the Amazing Spider-Man movies? Oh my God. He was dating Emma Stone. He did Hacksaw Ridge. Why can't I remember this guy's name? Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield. I think Andrew Garfield is actually a pretty good Peter Parker. He wasn't a bad Spider-Man or a bad Peter Parker. It's just all the bullshit that he was surrounded around that was terrible. It was just all the other stuff that they made him do and all the other stuff that he was a part of in those movies that he had no connection to really. He just did what he had to do. He did the movies. He actually was a pretty solid Peter Parker, and the guy genuinely really liked doing it. He did. He did. Which is a shame, because you could tell he really liked what he was doing. It was just everything else around him that had Andrew Garfield been cast for Spider-Man: Homecoming, we would not be looking at him as like one of the worst Spider-Man. That we would, if you remove Andrew Garfield from those Spider-Man movies, he is the best part about those movies. Poor guy. I love comics and manga, but when it comes to comics, I don't like your usual hero comics. Do you have any comic recommendations like Saga or Lock and Key that are not superhero based? Dude, look at Ed Brubaker's criminal stuff. Look at Ed Brubaker's entire image line. The criminal stuff he's doing, Fatale. If you're looking for a badass sci-fi story, Lazarus. Lazarus is one of the best stuff that's being published right now, and it never gets any love at all. I never see it show up on some of the year's best of stuff, and it's got one of the best universes that's being published right now. It's actually kind of scary how, and I actually spoke to Greg Rucka about this when I met him at MegaCon a few months ago, how dead on he is with what's going on with our world today and how scary we really are to having something like the events in Lazarus happen. It's pretty crazy. Are you still reading Tokyo Ghoul? I'm on volume 6. I have the first 8 volumes of Tokyo Ghoul. I need to jump back into that. I've been obsessed lately with My Hero Academia, so I'm going through that right now. Since my teens, I got every Valiant and Image release besides Batman. I haven't been brought back after event fatigue. Do you think this is good or bad? Since they bring in fans. I don't think it's good or bad. I don't think so. Look, read what you want. You not being brought back into like Marvel and DC comics in general isn't anything that's bad. In fact, what I've seen happen is that more people they start out with Marvel and DC because it's the easy thing to start. Oh, I like Spider-Man. I'll start here. Oh, I like I like Green Lantern. I'll start here. And then what I'm noticing is that a lot of people, after a few years, they start getting tired of Marvel and DC, and they start going into Dark Horse. They start checking out Image books. They start checking out Valiant, and they start checking out other kinds of companies and things like that. And they start realizing, oh, there's a lot more out there than the big two. And when I started getting burned out of the big two, oh, cool. Image has, these finite runs of comics. They have an ending. They have a Y the Last Man. They have an Ex Machina. They have, a Sandman, a Preacher, things like that. And they jump into that and they fall in love with it and they start kind of slowly fading away from the big two. So in a lot of ways, the big two is great as an entry point in comics. Then you also have, your Walking Deads and things like that, which are the outliers where people will just go into the store and buy Walking Dead comics because it's popular. And it seems like recently the Walking Dead fever has started to die down a lot. I think I read that last season, not the October season premiere, the February premiere when they come back was actually one of their lowest rated quote unquote season premieres that they've ever had. And the season finale was not that well watched. It was actually one of their lowest. So it seems like the Walking Dead fever is starting to die down a lot. The people are starting to kind of drift away from it. It's like, okay, And I think that has a lot to do with people starting to realize that the show's not that good. It just isn't. it isn't really that good. I'm sorry, guys. I mean, the special effects in it are crazy and they are really awesome, but I think it suffers a lot of from smart people making dumb decisions fatigue, where you'll have a character who's really intelligent, and then for the sake of the story, they dumb him down and he does something stupid just to kill him off. What makes Preacher your favorite comic book? Oh man, that's a good question. Um, what makes and you know what? I actually kind of agree. Walking Dead hasn't been good since the prison. They could have actually ended the story with the prison arc. I think you could have easily ended the story with the prison arc and how the governor handles it, and then, you know, you kind of, yeah, you leave it a bit ambiguous. But had Walking Dead decided to close the chapter after the prison arc, you would have one of the greatest, not just zombie stories, one of the greatest comics of all time. Because those first 48 issues, and then the semi epilogue that you have after the prison arc is brilliant. Like, it's absolutely fantastic and it's brilliant stuff. And then Kirkman starts relying on the cyclical nature of it all, and it starts spinning its wheels. And then it picks back up. It picks back up with the all-out war stuff, with the Negan stuff, and now it's again same deal again. But yeah, going back to answering your question, why is Preacher so great? Preacher is great simply because of a lot of different things. My favorite thing about it is just how damn funny it is and how unapologetic as to what it is. There's a lot of people out there that today get offended by the smallest amount of things. And it's important to be culturally aware and to be, you know, to be respectful of people's religious beliefs and to be respectful of the things that people do and the way they want to live their life and things like that within reason. But there are also the people out there that they just want to get mad just to get mad. They just want to start a shit storm on Twitter or on Facebook or something like that, just because they can, just because they're waiting for the next big thing to pop off, so they can say, "Oh, well, this offended me because of this." Da, 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 da. Okay, yeah. Preacher takes the piss out of all of that. Preacher it's unapologetic. It's yeah, if you don't like it, then too bad. Like we don't care. We're gonna write this story, and this story is what it is, and it's hilarious. It's offensive. I also like the fact that it's not afraid to challenge religion. It's not afraid to say, yes, certain aspects of this type of religion is a bit goofy. Like if you're like me and if you've ever sat in a church and go, I think this is bullshit, then Preacher might be the book for you. Hope that helps. Plus, Steve Dillon's art is actually really good. It's really good in Preacher. Starts out really strong, and then it peters off a little bit because he obviously had to do a deadline, so he isn't as detailed in later volumes. Yeah, it's really good stuff. What collections do you recommend? As in Absolute Editions or books that you can buy and read the whole story. As a side note, I'm reading the Absolute Edition of Preacher and I'm loving it right now. Absolute Sandman are beautiful collections. And if you can't afford the Absolute Sandman, I've heard the omnibuses. There's 2 omnibuses, and they are beautiful little collections of that as well. Let me think. What else? Absolute New Frontier is a must. If you don't have New Frontier in an Absolute Edition, you are shortchanging yourself because the art in that style and that big of a format is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful stuff. The pastor of my family's South Georgia Methodist Church is a preacher fanatic. Then chances are not to I don't know the guy, so I shouldn't say anything, but chances are he's a little bit looser than most pastors are with the whole like religious thing. Who's your favorite actor and director? Oh, actor today. You know, actor working today, I'm going to say it's actually kind of hard. I'll have to come back with you on that because there's a lot of good actors today. What would be a good comic book company to start that is not DC, Marvel, Dark Horse, or Image? Valiant. Valiant's got a lot of good titles. Harbinger is a fun book, man. It's really fun. Yeah, I fell off the Valiant train a little bit, but Harbinger is such a fun read. And X-O Manowar is another fun book as well. Valiant's got some really great titles. They are putting out a lot of good stuff that a lot of people are sleeping on. For sure. Soapy Worm. For sure, I don't think he's gonna last long there. Well, you know. And here's what I've noticed, not to get too much like into a religious tangent or anything like that, but I've noticed that especially nowadays, the younger generation that are coming up that are becoming pastors and things like that, they're not as close-minded as the generation that came before them. You have a lot of pastors out there that they're like, yeah, you know, we accept gay people into our church. Yeah, you know, we drink, we have tattoos and stuff like that. Yeah, we're all about one of the one of the most intelligent. Okay, back when I was in the faith, I guess you would call it that, and when I was a Christian, one of the most intelligent young men that I've ever met, and one of the most very well read and biblically thought intelligent people was a person that actually he was out of prison, and this was when I was first starting to kind of have my revelation of like who I wanted to be, and when I was first starting to come into who I want, and when I was first starting to question religion in general. Um, a buddy of mine, he's like, hey, you know what, just come to this guy's house. You know, he's a friend of mine. He has like a Sunday study group. He's not like your traditional pastor. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever, it's fine. So I go to the guy's house, and the first thing I see is he's on the front lawn. Dude is tatted up. He had told me he was in prison before, like tatted up to the nines. I was like, all right, cool. And he's smoking a cigarette. He's like, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?" He gives me a handshake. He's like, "All right, let's do this shit." And I was like, "Okay, I like this guy." Um, you know, we sat inside, and the fact is, the guy was intelligent. Like, he was very well read. He knew his Bible. He knew scripture. And I spent studying with him every Sunday for months and months and months and months and months. And he was by far the most well read and intelligent person that I've ever seen in terms of religion, in terms of other religions, how they tie in to the Bible and how the Bible works and things like that. Just a brilliant mind, man. And that's something that if had I been closed minded and had I this person by his exterior outlook and the fact that he was in prison for doing, you know, for doing some minor stuff. I would have not gotten that knowledge from him, and I think that's a problem that is going on in the church. It's that exterior image of it having to be squeaky clean. When you know some of the most well-read people are the ones that have been in prison, that have had that life experience, that have done mistakes in their life. You know. But that's something completely else. The fact is, the guy he's cleaned up his last I heard from him was probably like 2 years ago. Cleaned up his life, doing well, and you know he still does his Sunday thing every Sunday with people at his house. Dun, 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 dun. Valiant is fantastic since 2012. It's a hard sell because it's not mainstream. It really is, but Valiant definitely has some of the best titles that are being published today. If you want to see the best art ever, then Berserk or Sandman, I recommend Vagabond. I've seen uh, images of Vagabond, and the art is insane. It's oh my, it is on another level. It's crazy just how good the art in Vagabond is. It's just it's sickeningly good. That's how good it is. Valiant is a company I'd love to read more of, but can't find any of the hardcover back catalog except for the 90s stuff. You don't need to read the 90s Valiant stuff. In fact, I would say don't read um, any of the 90s stuff. Start with the reboot stuff. Start with the XO Man of War stuff that he's been putting out recently. Start with that, and start with the Harbinger stuff, and that stuff is great, man. Yeah, get the paperbacks. You can Valiant. What Valiant did was really smart. They pulled an Image. They said, "All right, we're going to give you the first trade paperback for $10, and you could even find that cheaper sometimes through Amazon. You can find like the first trade for like $6, $7, and we'll get you hooked on that. And then once you read the first trade, you're going to want to read the other books because they are very confident in the product that they are putting out." Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, stay away from the night. What happened to Valiant was that Valiant in the 1990s, they went bankrupt. And two college kids, when they got out of college, they bought the rights to Valiant and they started publishing Valiant books. They got a few really good writers and artists and they started pumping out their books and people started paying attention to it and were like, "Oh, Valiant's back. Wow, this is actually really good. This is well written. Harbinger Wars is a great event." People started paying more attention to it and they started taking it more seriously. Have you seen the Castlevania anime by Warren Ellis? It's amazing. I haven't. I've been wanting to sit down and watch that. I've heard mixed things about it. I've heard some people say it's spectacular, and I've heard other people say it's not that good. Um, obviously, I want to make I want to make up my own mind about it, but I've just heard mixed things. I'm really looking forward to sitting down and watching it. I've heard the animation is gorgeous, and the fact that it's written by Warren Ellis kind of gives it a bit of an oomph, you know. The events also don't cross over as bad, and more recently are contained in a few trades, usually 3. Yeah, they're really good with that. Let me see here. What did I miss? The Frog Queen. For me, it's all about Dorhidoro for artwork. I've never heard of that. I'm gonna have to check that out. But of course, I'm in love with Berserk. Then you have a good taste. Playing Persona 5 right now, and it's amazing. What games are you playing? I have been playing. I've been I've been busy doing a lot of the voiceover work, so I haven't had enough time to do as much gaming as I would like. I finished. What did I finish recently? I did my replay of the Last of Us. I finished that. I finished Breath of the Wild. I've been playing a shit ton of Mario Kart. And I'm playing the Crash Bandicoot trilogy when I have time. The Crash Bandicoot trilogy is fantastic. It's hard as balls. I didn't realize how hard Crash Bandicoot was. Like, okay, I played. I've platinum Dark Souls 1. I've beaten the hell out of Dark Souls. Dark Souls 1, I put in more hours than almost any other video game. I beat Dark Souls 1 like 7 times when that game first came out. I was obsessed. Beat Dark Souls 2 like 3 times. Beat Dark Souls 3 twice. And they don't hold a candle to fucking Crash Bandicoot in terms of difficulty. I don't know what it is about fucking Crash Bandicoot, but the game is goddamn hard. Ugh. Oh my god, is it hard. It's frustratingly difficult. And my girl just said fuck this shit as she's playing it right now. I don't remember Crash Bandicoot being this difficult. I don't. I don't. Ugh. What are the good Marvel books out now? Good question. Okay, so Gwenpool, I've heard it's really good. It's really fun. There's obviously Miss Marvel and Jason Aaron's Thor run. I've heard is good. Vision came out last year and it was brilliant. It's all collected over 2 trade paperbacks, and I recommend you read that. As far as anything else that's coming out right now, I'm not reading too much Marvel, so I couldn't give you like a definitive answer on that. I just got my Switch after hunting weeks for one and got Zelda coming today, so pumped. Do I play Hearthstone or Gwent? No, I never played Hearthstone or Gwent. My girl has played Hearthstone, though. She says she used to be addicted to it. I've heard it's pretty fun. If DC and Warner Brothers would hand you the DC Extended Universe and told you do anything you want, what would you do? Flashpoint! I would Flashpoint the absolute shit out of that universe and get rid of killing Batman, killing Superman. I would keep Wonder Woman. I would keep Wonder Woman as it is simply because that seems to be the one character they've gotten right. They changed the controllers for Crash Bandicoot. No, what it is, it's not necessarily the controllers. What it is that I was actually watching a video on this the other day. They imported the jump physics from Crash Bandicoot 3 into Crash Bandicoot 1 and 2. And in Crash Bandicoot 3, you need to get a running start in order for you to progress forward in the game. So the original two Crash Bandicoots, that wasn't the case. In Crash Bandicoot 1 and 2, if you jumped up, you could instantly change your direction and just go like a 90-degree angle and move forward enough that you'll be able to make the platform. Because of the fact that they moved that stuff over to the first two games, you actually have to get a running jump in order to make it across to the other platforms that you need to make, so it makes it more difficult. So when you're in levels like Bridge to Nowhere, which is just the biggest fucking pain in the ass, you actually have to get a running start in order to beat the turtle hop part. And I know for those of you that have never played Crash Bandicoot, I sound like a madman right now. DeathTube is about a web page exactly like YouTube, but people get likes and follows by putting up super messed up videos. Anything from self-mutilation to okay. Don't you like Ben Affleck's Batman? I like Ben Affleck's Batman. I don't like killing Batman. You know, there are people out there that are like, well, Batman used to kill and all this other stuff. Yeah, that was what, in the 1950s? So I'll be on for probably another 15 minutes, guys, because I'm busy and we got stuff to do today. And we're going to have a Dragon Ball Super watch party here pretty soon. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Earlier in the stream, I said that I have to make kind of a small announcement as to regards of the future of this channel. So, all right, here's how this is going to go. Dragon Ball Super. We're watching Dragon Ball Super. Here's how this is going to go. Simply because of the way the finances are working out and the way that I'm going to have to start saving more money and things like that because, you know, books are expensive. I will not be doing as many reviews on absolutes and hardcovers. I'm going to be focusing more on smaller hardcovers and trade paperbacks. And that's fine if I lose subscribers. I totally get why. But financially speaking, it's just not in the cards. It just is not, guys. It can't be done here. You know, Patreon being what it is, it helps out a lot. It does, but it's just not enough. When some of these books range from about $65 to $75 a pop. Like the channel's not going away. I'm still going to be doing reviews and stuff like that. It's called hardcover reviews, so I have to review something. What you're going to be getting more of is you're going to be getting more reviews for trades and smaller hardcovers and more voiceover work. That's just the way it goes because I can't put myself. When I first started this channel, I was living at home and I was on a teacher's salary and that was perfectly fine. I was single. I didn't have any issues. Now that I'm not living on my own, I'm paying my own rent. I have a girlfriend that we live together and I have responsibilities and things like that. That's just the way this is going to have to work because I can't afford to buy every single omnibus that's coming out. You know, That's just how it is. So you're going to be getting more reviews on manga because it's cheaper, more reviews on trades, more reviews on hardcovers and things like that. But the big stuff like omnibuses and absolutes, that's going to be really scattered. That's going to be rare stuff. I'm telling you right now. And you're definitely going to be getting more voiceover work. What I found really interesting is that since I started doing the voiceover work last week, the 2 videos that I've done with voiceover work, the Hellboy video and the manga video, have gotten more views and more likes than almost any of the other reviews that I've done. So clearly, you guys are enjoying that stuff. So that's just how it is, you know? The other option is that Patreon jumps up significantly and then I could start doing that again, but that's not happening right now, so I can't, you know? So that's where I'm at right now. Sorry if that kind of burst somebody's bubble out. Somebody out there is going to get mad at me. I know somebody. Somebody's probably going to send me a message. Look, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know, you're hardcore reviews. You should be reviewing. Fuck off. You know? I know there's going to be somebody out there that's going to get pissy. So yeah, that's kind of what I had to. That's kind of what I had to say. See, not the end of the world. Channel's still going to go on. I'm still going to be part of the Omni Bros live streams on Thursdays. This just changes. Not only that, but there's something to be said about oversaturation, and it definitely seems like Marvel especially is starting to notice that there is a market for the omnibus collector and the hardcover collector and stuff like that. Because in September alone, we are getting 5 fucking omnibuses in September. Not spread out. We're getting about 5 omnibuses within the span of September to October. That is insane. That is nuts. They couldn't spread this out. And I'm pretty sure what they're trying to do is they want to hit it before the holiday season. People can't afford that. From a business standpoint, it seems like Marvel isn't entirely sure what to do with the people that collect omnibuses and hardcovers, because not only are they crunching in so much in such a small space, but they're putting out shit. Who wants Shadowland as an omnibus? Oh man, I'm getting a lot of love. Thank you guys. Will I still be doing the Sunday stream? Yes. Nothing is going to change except for the fact that I will not be reviewing omnibuses and absolutes as much anymore. I'm just not. I can't. I can't. You're correct. Any product over $50 and a book is difficult to market. It absolutely is. And I think it's imperative that Marvel realize that they just shouldn't publish out every little piece of shit that they have and put it into an omnibus. Because, like I said, nobody was clamoring for a Shadowland omnibus. Nobody. Why? Why put it out? It's just going to sit on shelves, and nobody's going to buy it. And then in a few years, Marvel's going to do its warehouse sale where they put it out for like $25. Okay, getting a lot of love. Thank you guys. It's really appreciated. Yeah, so like I said, nothing's going to change. Still going to be doing the Sunday streaming. Still going to be doing the, for patrons, the Justin Hardcover News Show. I got to get back on and do the weekly recommendations there. Still going to be doing the Omni Bros Live. Still going to be getting out reviews. This week, you guys are going to be getting the review for the first 13 volumes of Berserk. And I don't know. I'm going to probably have something else out. I'm also working on the next voiceover video. If you were Kevin Feige, what changes would you bring to the MCU? And what characters would you bring in? If I was Kevin Feige, what changes would I bring to the MCU? I would have made the Inhumans not a TV show. I would have made sure the Inhumans weren't a TV show for starters. Why are you making faces at me? My girlfriend's sitting across from me making faces right now, trying to get me to laugh. I thought you were playing Crash Bandicoot.
I fucking hate that shit.
Okay. I would definitely bring in the Inhumans. Ooh, it's cold in here. What do you think is the Joker's real name? I don't know. That's a good question. I saw you mention that you think it's Joe Chill. Are they gonna? Am I lost? I don't know. Have you heard about the upcoming Batman White Knight by Sean Murphy? Will you be reading? Oh, fuck yeah. That sounds so good. Oh my god, man. I love Sean Murphy's work, and his art is phenomenal. I can't wait. I cannot wait to. And the whole concept of what would happen if the Joker was cured of his psychosis and he decides to kind of be Batman and help people out. I'm really interested in seeing that. Plus, Sean Murphy's awesome. Love Sean Murphy. Is the Legion TV show any good? It's one of the best shows this year. Oh, man. Legion is so good. So much fun. Legion is a blast. It's not your traditional TV show or your traditional TV superhero show, and you can kind of tell that they had a bit of a limited budget to work with. But Legion is great, man. It's so much fun. Have you played Happy Wheels? I don't know what that is. What is your favorite superhero? Superpower. My favorite superpower. Go back in time. Do you watch Narcos? I've seen bits and pieces of the second season. I need to sit down and watch all of it. But I've heard good things. I've heard real good things. I've heard real good things. So I'm looking forward to that. I need to sit down. We live in a society where we are oversaturated with great content, from books to TV to movies, and there's just not enough time. It's just too much. It's way too much, which also speaks to our current society and how we consume things and how it's never enough, and we just have to keep consuming. We have to keep obsessing over things and the latest trend and stuff like that. It's just too much good stuff. Don't have enough time to absorb it all. Do you like the Twilight Zone? I used to. I used to watch a lot of the old Twilight Zone episodes. When I was a kid living in Puerto Rico, we would only get a few channels, and one of the things that I used to watch were reruns of the Twilight Zone. So I was a huge fan of the Twilight Zone growing up. Used to dug the hell out of it. But then again, I've spoken of like what my parents would allow me to watch and what I couldn't watch as a kid. Basically, by the age of 5, everything was off limits, except for everything was off limits by the age of 5, except for basically porn. And that was about the only thing I couldn't watch by 5 years old. Hell, I watched RoboCop when I was 5, 6 years old. That was one of the first movies I ever saw. And that's not a movie that you should be giving your kids. That's definitely not a movie you should be giving your kids. RoboCop is 30 years old now. Started in 1987. I want Netflix to do more Marvel series. I'd like that too. Dun, 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 dun. One day my father told me in the comic book. Okay. All right, guys. So 5-minute warning. 5 more minutes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and call this. So let me know if you got any more questions within the next 5 minutes. With family heritage in Nicaragua, I wish someone would do a comic book about its history. Do you wish someone would do the same for the current situation of Puerto Rico? Actually, yeah. I think I think if they could do something focusing on one of the more poor areas and a coming of age story in Puerto Rico, it would kind of awaken people as to what the situation is over there, because the amount of debt that they are in and how poor Puerto Rico is as a whole is insane. And a lot of people here in the US don't realize it. Um, I think I saw that they just shut down this past year like over 200 schools or something like that in Puerto Rico. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Roman Guerrero, did you get the Hickman Avengers on me? I did not. You probably just jumped in the live stream, but I made an announcement regarding the future of this channel a few minutes ago. You should probably take a look at that. Dad took me to go see RoboCop, so yeah, man. As a kid, looking back on this now, when Murphy's hand gets blown off and he's holding it and like blood is squirting out, I'm like, why did my parents ever let me watch this in the first place? Like, RoboCop is fucked up. There's some stuff in there that is really dark. It's also a brilliant take on Reaganism and society and consumerism and stuff like that. And what's scary is just how much Verhoeven was able to predict and see what the future would be like in RoboCop. We're not that far off from RoboCop, to be honest, with how crazy things are with today's society. We are not that far off with private corporations and stuff like that. Like, I watched RoboCop probably like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, God damn, we are not that far off. It's pretty crazy. Um, hmm, mm, mm, mm. So if you haven't seen RoboCop recently, I urge you guys to definitely sit down and take a look at it. I was 7 when that came out. Wow, you were 7 when RoboCop came out. I wasn't even born when RoboCop came out. I was born in '89. That movie's from '87. So. Dun, 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 dun. Do you guys decide your Omni Bros episodes ahead of time or last minute? That's always last minute. We never really have anything planned until probably about an hour beforehand, simply because of the fact that we have something planned out, and then usually either something ends up happening or one of the guys can't make it or something like that. And it's like, well, we'll just come up with something at the last minute. And it actually works. The last RoboCop sucked. Oh, the last RoboCop was terrible. Yeah, that one with the guy that played that was in Suicide Squad. Yeah, that was terrible. Yeah, that was watered down garbage. It was PG-13. They did RoboCop as a PG-13 movie. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was Freddy Alvarez, wasn't it? The one that did the Evil Dead movies? Or I might be mistaken for somebody else. Are you doing a Spidey Omni Bros episode this week? We don't know yet. We don't know yet. Some of us won't be able to see the movie this week, so we're not entirely sure if we're doing it. But if not, we'll do something else. We always end up doing something. We're actually coming up on a year. It's been almost a year since we started Omni Bros. Since we started the live stream stuff. A year. Do you have a series that doesn't have any hardcover release that you would like to see Berserk? I'd love to see Berserk get a hardcover release. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for me this week. Have I worn a fedora? No, I have not worn a fedora. That's going to be it. So if this is your first time checking out this channel and these live streams, guys, there's going to be a lot more content coming out this week. There's going to be a lot more voiceover works and stuff like that. So there's going to be my review for the first 13 volumes of Berserk coming out this week. A lot of good stuff is happening. For the patrons out there, Just in Hardcover News Show will be coming out this week. There is going to be a pick of the week. There's going to be a lot of stuff going up on there. I will also be uploading my show notes and my notes for the voiceover stuff that I did over the past week. Check that out for $5. So yeah, if you like this stuff and you want to support what I do and you want more content, such as the Just in Hardcover News Show, Patreon is found in the description. Love you guys. Have a great week. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter in the description. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.